docking bay shimmered with hostile energy as Cadet Liam Drake stepped off the transport shuttle onto the carrier deck of the Zenith Coalition flagship. His boots hit the metal floor with a clang that echoed through the massive hangar. Beside him, a fully grown grizzly bear named Kodiak moved with surprising silence, his dark eyes scanning the assembled alien crew. Commander Vexthal, a 7-foot-tall Krillian with iridescent purple scales and 4 arms, descended from the observation platform. His lipless mouth twisted into what passed for a sneer among his species. "This is what Earth sends?" Vexthal's voice boomed across the bay. A soft-skinned child and his pet. Liam kept his face neutral. He'd been warned about the Krillians. They valued strength, combat prowess, and had zero patience for what they considered weakness. Humans were the newest members of the Coalition, barely tolerated, constantly tested. "Cadet Drake reporting for duty, sir." Liam's voice was steady. Vexthal circled them both, his golden eyes gleaming with contempt. "In my 300 years commanding warships, I have never seen such an insult. The Vraxian horde advances on the outer colonies, and High Command sends me children with zoo animals. The other crew members, a mix of Cryolians, insectoid Chirothi, and crystalline Luxor, watched with barely concealed amusement. Some chittered, others simply stared. Kodiak's muscles tensed. Liam felt it through the bond they shared, that inexplicable connection humans had discovered with Earth's apex predators. It was humanity's secret weapon, though most aliens dismissed it as folklore. "Perhaps you should return to your planet," Vexthal continued, leaning close to Liam, "before real combat turns you into—" The growl started low, a rumble that vibrated through the deck plating. It rose in pitch and volume until every conversation in the hangar died. Kodiak stepped forward, placing himself between Liam and the commander. The bear rose to his full height, 9 feet of muscle and fury, claws scraping against metal. "Stand down," Liam said quietly. The bear didn't move. His lips pulled back, revealing teeth designed to crush bone. Vexthal's 4 hands moved toward his sidearms. Around them, weapons charged. The air crackled with building tension. "I said stand down, Kodiak." The bear's head swiveled slightly. One eye on Liam, the growl continued. "He's my master," Kodiak's voice rumbled through the translation collar at his neck. The alien crew froze. Bears didn't speak. Animals didn't have language centers developed enough for translation tech to work. But Kodiak did. Because he wasn't just a bear anymore. He was bonded, awakened. Enhanced by a connection science couldn't fully explain. Vexthal's scales rippled with shock. "Impossible. You want to test us?" Liam asked, his voice cutting through the silence. "Then stop talking and assign us quarters. We have work to do." The alarm klaxon screamed to life before anyone could respond. The bridge erupted into chaos as tactical displays lit up with red signatures. Liam sprinted through the corridor behind Vexthal, Kodiak keeping pace with fluid strides that made deck officers press themselves against the walls. The grizzly's claws sparked against the metal floor with each step. "Vraxian raiders," Vexthal barked into his comm. 3 destroyers dropping out of hyperspace. They found us faster than predicted. Liam burst onto the bridge and immediately assessed the situation. The main view screen showed 3 wedge-shaped vessels, each bristling with weapon ports. They were smaller than the Coalition flagship, but faster, deadlier in close combat. "Battle stations," Vexthal commanded. His crew moved with practiced efficiency, but Liam saw the tension in their movements. "Fear. Why aren't we returning fire?" Liam asked. A Chirothi officer, her mandibles clicking rapidly, answered without looking away from her console. "Shield harmonics are misaligned. We took damage in the last engagement." "Weapons are offline for another 2 minutes." 2 minutes. The Vraxian destroyers were already launching fighter craft. Dozens of them, sleek angular shapes that moved like hunting raptors. "Defensive countermeasures," Vexthal ordered. "Insufficient," the tactical officer replied. "They'll breach our shields before we can fire." Liam stepped forward. "Let me launch." Every head on the bridge turned toward him. Vexthal's scales darkened to near black. a Krillian expression of disbelief. "You've been aboard for 3 minutes, Cadet. You think you can do?" "I think I can buy you the time you need," Liam interrupted, "unless you have a better option in the next 30 seconds. Vexthal's forehands clenched. Pride warred with necessity across his alien features. The tactical display showed the enemy fighters accelerating toward them. "Launch Bay 3, Vexthal finally growled. "Take a Raptor-class interceptor. You'll die out there." "Probably," Liam agreed, already moving toward the exit. Kodiak followed. "The animal cannot fit in a fighter cockpit," Vexthal called after them. "Watch me," Kodiak rumbled. They reached the launch bay in 90 seconds flat. Liam's hands flew across the cockpit interface of the nearest Raptor. The craft was built for Krillians, too large for human proportions, but he'd trained on simulation models. Kodiak squeezed into the co-pilot seat, his bulk filling the space completely. "This is insane," the launch coordinator said over the comm. "Noted," Liam replied, firing the engines. "Open the bay doors!" The Raptors screamed out into the void. Space stretched before them, infinite and cold. Liam's hands moved across the controls with speed born from thousands of simulation hours. The fighter responded, banking hard as enemy fire streaked past. 36 hostiles, Kodiak said, his enhanced cognition processing the tactical data faster than the ship's computer. The bond between them hummed with shared awareness. Liam saw the battlefield through both his eyes and Kodiak's enhanced perception. "I count them," Liam said. His fingers danced across weapons systems. "Let's even the odds. He dove into the enemy formation. Conventional tactics said to maintain distance, to use superior range. But conventional tactics assumed you were alone. Liam wasn't. The first Vraxian fighter exploded as Liam's plasma cannons found its reactor. He rolled, Kodiak calling out angles and trajectories before the computer could calculate them. Their bond translated into perfect synchronization. When Liam thought left, the bear was already compensating for drift. When targeting solutions appeared in Liam's mind, Kodiak had already identified the optimal firing window. 2 on R6, Kodiak growled. Liam cut thrust entirely, letting momentum carry them forward while the Raptor spun 180 degrees. He fired. Both pursuers became expanding clouds of debris. "Impossible." Vexthal's voice crackled over the comm. "How are you?" "Less talking, more shooting," Liam snapped. "Your weapons online yet?" 15 seconds. Liam checked his tactical display. 15 enemy fighters destroyed. 21 remaining, and they were adapting, forming up into attack patterns designed to overwhelm a single target. Kodiak, pattern Delta. The bear's claws extended, pressing buttons too small for him with impossible precision. The Raptor shields reconfigured, concentrating forward. Liam accelerated directly at the enemy formation. "He's going to ram them," someone on the bridge said. "No," Vexthal replied, and something like respect entered his voice. "He's going to break their line." Liam fired everything, plasma cannons, missiles, even the emergency flares. The Vaxian formation scattered, their tight attack pattern dissolving into chaos. He wove through the gaps, Kodiak redirecting shield strength in real time to absorb hits they couldn't dodge. "Flagship weapons online," Vexthal announced. The space around Liam lit up with heavy plasma fire. The Coalition flagship's main batteries unleashed hell. Vraxian fighters evaporated. The 3 destroyers tried to retreat, but they'd committed too close. One broke apart under sustained fire. The other managed to jump to hyperspace, trailing atmosphere from hull breaches. Silence fell across the comm channel. Liam guided the Raptor back toward the flagship, his hands steady despite the adrenaline crash beginning to set in. Kodiak's breathing was heavy but controlled. "Cadet Drake," Vexthal's voice was different now, harder. "Clearer. Return to the bridge immediately." "Copy that, Commander." As they docked, Liam saw the entire launch bay crew standing at attention. Not mockery in their eyes now. Something else entirely. The bridge fell silent as Liam and Kodiak entered. Vexthal stood at the center console, all forearms crossed. The crew watched with expressions ranging from shock to something approaching awe. The main view screen still showed the debris field from the battle, wreckage tumbling through space. 17 kills in 4 minutes, Vexthal said. His voice carried across the bridge like a declaration. Against Raxian elite fighter wings, with no backup. Liam said nothing. He'd learned that silence often spoke louder than words. Explain the bond, Vexthal demanded. Coalition intelligence reports mentioned human-animal partnerships, but nothing like what I just witnessed. Before Liam could answer, the communications officer jerked upright. Commander, we're receiving a distress signal. Colony Outpost Meridian, Sector 7. They're under direct assault. The tactical display shifted, showing a small mining colony on a barren moon. Population 14,000. Minimal defenses. And descending toward it, a full Raxian battle group. 6 capital ships, twice that many support cruisers, and fighter craft numbered in the hundreds. They're not raiding, the Chirathi tactical officer said, her mandibles trembling. They're exterminating, full orbital bombardment configuration. How long until we can reach them? Vexthal asked. 42 minutes at maximum velocity. And how long until the bombardment destroys the colony? Silence. Then, quietly, 18 minutes. Maybe 20 if the colonists reach the underground shelters. Vexthal's scales rippled through colors Liam had never seen. Rage, frustration, helplessness. We cannot save them. Even if we arrived in time, one flagship against a battle group is suicide. Not suicide, Liam said. Just difficult. Every eye turned to him. Kodiak shifted his weight, a low rumble building in his chest. Not aggression, anticipation. You cannot be serious, Vexthal said. That display against fighters was impressive, but capital ships are. How many other humans are aboard this vessel? Liam interrupted. The question caught Vexthal off guard. What? Humans. On this ship. How many? A Luxor officer, her crystalline body refracting the bridge lights into rainbows, checked her roster. 12, including yourself. 8 ground troops in the Marine barracks. 2 engineers. 1 medical officer. And their bonded partners? Understanding dawned on Vexthal's face. You brought more than just the bear. We always do, Liam said. Get me a comm channel to all human personnel. And prepare your fastest assault shuttles. We're going to need them. 5 minutes later, Liam stood in the main briefing room. Around him gathered the other humans. There was Marcus Cole, a broad-shouldered Marine with a scarred face and a Bengal tiger named Reyes, lounging beside him. Next to them, Elena Vasquez, an engineer with quick eyes and a gray wolf called Storm. The medical officer, Patrick Liu, had bonded with a massive silverback gorilla named Titan. The remaining Marines brought a pack. 4 soldiers, 4 timber wolves, moving as one unified consciousness. They think we're a novelty, Marcus said, his voice gravelly. Pets and handlers playing soldier. Let them think it, Liam replied. Meridian Colony has 14,000 civilians. We have 18 minutes before the Raxians start killing them. Command says we can't win. So we're going to prove them wrong. Elena pulled up a tactical hologram. 6 capital ships. The flagship alone has enough firepower to glass the entire colony in minutes. Their shields are military-grade, overlapping fields that our weapons can barely scratch. We don't need to destroy them, Liam said. We need to stop them, delay them until Vexthal gets the flagship in range. Kodiak moved to the hologram, one massive paw gesturing at the Vraxian formation. They're configured for orbital bombardment. That means shields concentrated downward, minimal coverage on approach vectors from above the orbital plane.
Exactly, Liam agreed.
We hit them from the blind spot, fast, hard, and mean. Target their weapons arrays, not the ships themselves. We're not trying to win a battle. We're buying time. Patrick spoke up, his voice calm despite the insanity of what they were discussing. 12 humans and their partners against a battle group. The odds are approximately 8 to 1. Titan, the gorilla, made a sound that might have been laughter through his translation collar. I like those odds. Means they're overconfident. Exactly, Marcus said, grinning. They won't expect us to be this stupid. Aggressive, Liam corrected. Not stupid. There's a difference. The assault shuttles were built to carry 40 Marines each. Liam's team packed into 2, leaving space for the bonded partners. Kodiak's bulk filled half the passenger compartment alone. The wolves moved like liquid shadow, finding positions and settling in. Ray's, the Bengal tiger, regarded everyone with golden eyes that promised violence. Launch in 60 seconds, the pilot announced. A Curlian veteran named Caxtor, who'd volunteered despite thinking they were all insane, Vexil's voice came over the comm. Cadet Drake, this is madness. You will all die. Probably, Liam agreed. But those colonists won't. That's the mission. The flagship will be there in 38 minutes. Then we hold for 38 minutes. Drake out. The shuttles screamed out of the launch bay, their engines burning at maximum output. Space stretched before them, cold and infinite. On the tactical display, the Vraxian battle group loomed like a constellation of death, their weapons already beginning to glow with charging energy. 2 minutes to contact, Caxtor said. Liam checked his rifle, a Coalition standard plasma weapon modified for human hands. Around him, the others did the same. The bonded partners needed no weapons. They were the weapons. Remember the drill, Liam said. Fast insertion. Hit the weapons batteries. Extraction before they can organize a response. And if extraction isn't possible, Elena asked. Liam met her eyes. Then we keep fighting until it is. The shuttles dove toward the Vraxian formation like arrows loosed from heaven's bow. The shuttles hit the Vraxian flagship's upper hull like meteors. Magnetic clamps engage, holding them against the armored surface. Cutting torches flared to life, slicing through reinforced plating in seconds. Liam dropped through the breach first, Kodiak right behind him. They landed in an auxiliary weapons control room. 3 Vraxian crew members spun toward them, reaching for sidearms. They never completed the motion. Kodiak crossed the distance in one fluid leap, his roar shaking the bulkheads. The Vraxians went down hard, unconscious before they hit the deck. Non-lethal when possible, Liam reminded him, moving to the main console. I'm aware. Kodiak growled, already positioning himself at the doorway. Elena dropped through next, Storm materializing beside her like a gray phantom. Her fingers flew across the Vraxian interface. Their systems use base 7 mathematics. Give me 30 seconds. You have 15, Liam said, hearing footsteps in the corridor. The door exploded inward. Vraxian soldiers poured through, their segmented armor gleaming red under the emergency lights. They were insectoid, with 4 legs and 2 arms, each holding weapons that crackled with electromagnetic energy. Kodiak met them head-on. His size worked against the Vraxians' expectations. They aimed center mass, but center mass on a grizzly was 9 feet off the ground and moving. He crashed through their formation like a furry avalanche, scattering bodies and weapons. Storm leaped over the chaos, his jaws finding weak points in armor joints. The wolf moved with surgical precision, disabling rather than killing, just as trained. Got it, Elena announced. Weapons array offline. They'll need 20 minutes to reboot. Move to the next target, Liam ordered. They fought their way through 3 more weapons bays. Each time the pattern repeated. Brutal entry, overwhelming force. Elena's technical expertise shutting down systems faster than the Vraxians could respond. But the enemy was adapting. Reinforcements arrived quicker. Resistance grew fiercer. On the second capital ship, Marcus and his team faced heavy combat. Ray's became a blur of orange and black, his claws shredding through bulkheads and battle armor alike. The tiger's roar echoed through the corridors like rolling thunder. Marcus fought beside him, human and animal moving as one perfect weapon. 4th weapons battery disabled, Marcus reported over the comm. But we've got problems. They're sealing blast doors, trying to trap us in sections. Patrick, how's your team? Liam asked. Medical bay secured, Patrick replied calmly. The sound of crumpling metal came through the channel. Titan is expressing his displeasure with their security doors. They're not holding. The gorilla's strength was legendary even among bonded pairs. Where others cut through obstacles, Titan simply removed them from existence. The Marine wolf pack operated differently. They'd split up, each human wolf pair taking separate targets across the third capital ship. Their pack bond allowed coordination without communication. When one pair engaged enemies, the others flanked from impossible angles. The Vraxians found themselves fighting shadows that struck from every direction simultaneously. Time check, Liam demanded, firing his plasma rifle down a corridor. A Vraxian soldier's shields flared and collapsed. Kodiak finished the job, knocking the alien unconscious with one measured swipe. 19 minutes since engagement began, Elena said. Flagship arrives in 19 minutes. Perfect timing, except nothing was ever perfect in combat. The Vraxian battle group commander finally understood what was happening. Unable to use ship weapons against enemies inside their own vessels, they adapted. Atmospheric venting. They started purging entire sections into space, hoping to flush out the intruders. Emergency suits now, Liam shouted as alarms blared. The bonded partners didn't have suits. They didn't need them. The bond provided something science still couldn't explain, a sharing of biological resilience. When the atmospheric seals failed and vacuum rushed in, the bears, wolves, tiger, and gorilla simply kept fighting. Their human partners, connected through the bond, found they could breathe where no breath should exist. Vraxian soldiers, caught in their own trap, scrambled for emergency gear. They died or fled, leaving corridors empty except for the human teams pushing deeper into the ships. This is impossible, came a transmission on Vraxian command frequencies. Elena had cracked their encryption. They survive vacuum. They fight through depressurization. What are these creatures? Target the fifth ship, Liam ordered. We need to disable their communications array, stop them from calling reinforcements. His team breached the fifth capital ship's communications deck. It was heavily defended, 24 Vraxian elites in full combat armor. These weren't regular soldiers. They were veterans, trained warriors who'd seen 100 battles. They lasted 90 seconds against Kodiak's fury. The bear moved through them like a force of nature. When they tried to concentrate fire, he was already elsewhere. When they attempted to surround him, Liam picked them off from elevated positions. When they brought up heavy weapons, Storm materialized from ventilation shafts and tore through their ranks. Elena reached the main console. Their encryption is better here. I need 3 minutes. You have 2, Liam said, reloading. The Vraxian counterattack came fast. Combat mechs, 12 feet tall and bristling with weapons, stomped through the blast doors. Their targeting systems locked onto heat signatures. Autocannons spun up with a whine that promised devastation. Kodiak roared a challenge that shook dust from the ceiling. Really? Liam asked. You want to fight robots? I really do, the bear rumbled, charging forward. Metal met flesh. The first mech's punch could have shattered concrete. Kodiak took it on his shoulder, twisted, and threw the entire machine through a bulkhead. The second mech fired its cannons. Liam dove, rolled, came up firing at its optical sensors. Blinded, it sprayed bullets randomly. Storm darted between its legs, Elena following to plant charges on its power core. The explosion rocked the deck. 2 mechs down, 10 to go. Communications are down, Elena shouted over the chaos. They can't call for help. Extract, 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 Liam ordered into the comm. The human teams fought their way back to extraction points. Marcus's team moved through the second ship, with Rays clearing paths through enemy formations. Patrick and Titan simply walked through walls, the gorilla's strength making mockery of Vraxian engineering. The wolf pack flowed like water, impossible to pin down or contain. The shuttles lifted off, enemy fire splashing against their shields. On the tactical display, All 6 Rakian capital ships showed critical damage to weapon systems. They could still fight, but their orbital bombardment capability was gone. The colony was safe. For now. Flagship ETA 3 minutes, Vexthal's voice came through, and for the first time since they'd met, Liam heard respect in it. All human teams prepare for coordinated assault. You've given us the opening we needed. The Coalition flagship dropped out of hyperspace like an avenging angel. Its main battery is already firing. The Coalition flagship's opening salvo tore through the Braxian formation like a hammer through glass. Plasma bolts the size of buildings slammed into weakened shields, overloading defensive grids already compromised by the human team's sabotage. The first enemy cruiser split down its center line, reactors cascading into brilliant white detonations. Liam watched from his shuttle as Vexthal unleashed everything the commander had been holding back during the earlier engagement, conserving ammunition and power. Not anymore. The flagship's ventral batteries opened up, targeting the Vraxian capital ships with precision fire that exploited every gap the human teams had created. All shuttles return to the flagship, Vexthal ordered. We'll finish this. Negative, Liam replied, banking his shuttle toward the colony's surface. We're going groundside. The Vraxians already dropped assault teams before we arrived. Static filled the channel for 3 seconds. Then Vexthal's voice returned, clipped and professional. Confirmed. Long-range scans show enemy ground forces engaging colony defenses. They're losing, but civilians are in the crossfire. Then we end it fast, Marcus said over the team channel. Liam could hear Reyes' growl in the background, eager and ready. The shuttle screamed through Meridian's thin atmosphere. The colony sprawled across a crater basin, prefabricated structures and mining equipment scattered among rocky outcroppings. Smoke rose from a dozen locations. Plasma fire lit up the twilight as Vraxian ground troops pushed toward the civilian shelters. Kextor brought the shuttle down hard, landing gear crunching against regolith. The ramp dropped before they'd fully stopped. Liam hit the ground running, Kodiak launching past him with ground-eating strides. The Vraxian ground commander had made a fatal mistake. He'd positioned his forces in a standard suppression pattern, expecting terrified civilians and minimal resistance. What he got instead was 12 humans and their bonded partners hitting his flanks like a hammer striking an anvil. The Wolfpack struck first. They materialized from behind mining equipment, 4 human marines and their wolves working in perfect synchronization. The Vraxians never saw them coming. One moment their left flank was secure. The next it dissolved into chaos, as wolves tore through their formation while their human partners provided devastating covering fire. Marcus and Reyes took the center. The tiger moved like liquid death, his striped form blurring between cover points. Vraxian soldiers tried to track him, failed, died. Marcus followed in his wake, each shot precise and economical. No wasted ammunition, no hesitation. Patrick approached the problem differently. Titan didn't hide or use stealth. The silverback gorilla simply walked toward the enemy lines, absorbing fire that should have killed him 3 times over. The bond made him resilient beyond explanation, turning conventional weapons into annoyances. When he reached the Vraxian positions, he began methodically dismantling their defensive emplacements with his bare hands. Medical teams are moving in behind us, Patrick reported calmly, as if he wasn't in the middle of a battlefield. Civilian casualties are higher than expected. I'm routing the worst cases to the shuttle. Liam and Kodiak drove straight for the Vraxian command post. The bears scattered soldiers like bowling pins while Liam disabled their communication arrays with precisely placed shots. Elena and Storm flanked wide. Storm's enhanced senses detecting ambush positions before the Vraxians could spring them. Commander, we have a problem, Elena said. They've planted demolition charges on the main shelter. Remote detonators. If we push too hard, they'll kill everyone inside. Liam's jaw tightened. Hostage tactics. Desperation moves. Can you disable them? Not remotely. Someone needs to reach the physical detonators. Storm and I will go, she continued. But we need a distraction. Something big enough to pull every Vraxian eye away from the shelter. Kodiak looked at Liam. Even without words, the bond communicated everything. The bear's dark eyes held intelligence, determination, and something that might have been amusement. "You're enjoying this," Liam said. "Absolutely," Kodiak rumbled. They charged the Varaxian center. Every soldier, every weapon, every tactical sensor locked onto them, exactly as planned. Kodiak became the focal point of the entire battlefield, a 9-foot nightmare of fur and fury that should not exist but did. The Varaxians poured fire into him, their weapons screaming. The bear shrugged it off. Plasma burns that should have been fatal became minor injuries, healing even as new ones appeared. The bond shared damage across both partners, diluting it, distributing it, making the impossible sustainable. Liam felt each hit as a distant ache, manageable, ignorable. They reached the Varaxian command bunker. Liam planted charges while Kodiak held the entrance against a dozen soldiers trying to retake their position. The bear's roar shook loose rock from nearby cliffs. "Charges set," Liam announced. "Elena, status?" "Disarming the last detonator now. Hold for 15 seconds. The longest 15 seconds of Liam's life. Kodiak took a direct hit from a plasma cannon, the kind of weapon designed to disable armored vehicles. The bear staggered, went out on one knee. Through the bond, Liam felt ribs crack, organs bruise. Pain flooded their shared consciousness. "Kodiak!" The bear pushed himself back up. Blood matted his fur, but his eyes burned with undiminished fury. "I've had worse." "When?" "Never." But it sounded tough. Despite everything, Liam laughed. "Detonators disabled," Elena reported. "Civilians are safe. All teams pull back," Liam ordered. "We're blowing the command post." The explosion collapsed half the crater wall. Varaxian forces, leaderless and demoralized, began retreating toward their remaining dropships. Above, in orbit, the battle was ending. 4 Varaxian capital ships were debris. The remaining 2 jumped to hyperspace, abandoning their ground troops. Vextal's voice came through the comm, satisfaction evident even through the translation matrix. "Ground forces are surrendering. The colony is secure." Liam surveyed the battlefield. Human teams were already helping with civilian evacuation, bonded partners moving with surprising gentleness as they cleared rubble and assisted the injured. Titan carried an entire family on his back, the gorilla's massive frame somehow cradling them with perfect care. The wolves guided shell-shocked colonists toward medical stations. Kodiak sat heavily, his breathing labored. The adrenaline was fading, leaving behind the reality of his injuries. Liam knelt beside him, hands checking wounds with practiced efficiency. "You know what the worst part about this bond is?" Kodiak asked. "What?" "I have to feel how worried you are about me. It's embarrassing. You just fought a company of elite soldiers and won. Nothing embarrassing about that." "True," the bear agreed, then winced as Patrick arrived to treat his injuries. "But don't let it go to your head. We got lucky." Liam looked across the battlefield at the other human teams. At Marcus and Reyes, at Elena and Storm, at Patrick and Titan, at the wolf pack moving as one unified force. Lucky wasn't the word he'd use. They'd proven something today. Something the Coalition needed to understand. Humanity didn't fight like other species. They didn't fight alone. And that made all the difference. The flagship's medical bay hummed with activity as Coalition doctors worked on both human and bonded partners. Kodiak lay on a reinforced examination table, enduring treatment with stoic patience. His wounds were already healing faster than the alien medical staff expected, the bond accelerating recovery beyond normal biology. Vextal entered, his forearms carrying datapads and what looked like ceremonial insignia. The bridge crew followed him, along with representatives from every species aboard. They filled the medical bay until standing room disappeared. "Cadet Drake," Vextal began, then stopped. His scales shifted through colors Liam had learned meant internal conflict. "No, that rank is insufficient. The Coalition High Command has reviewed the battle recordings." He stepped forward, holding out the insignia. They were officers' marks, the kind that took most soldiers decades to earn. "You are hereby promoted to lieutenant. Your entire human contingent receives commendations for valor beyond any standard metric. Vexthal's voice carried across the bay. Meridian Colony stands because 12 humans and their partners did what an entire battle group could not. Liam accepted the insignia but didn't put them on. With respect, Commander, we didn't do it for commendations. I know, Vexthal said quietly. That's why you earned them. Kodiak raised his head from the examination table. Does this promotion come with better rations because your military food is terrible? Laughter rippled through the assembled crew. Even Vexthal's scales lightened to something approaching amusement. I have questions, the commander continued, about the bond. About how you survived vacuum, withstood damage that should have killed you, coordinated across multiple vessels without communication arrays. We don't fully understand it ourselves, Liam admitted. Scientists back on Earth have theories. Quantum entanglement. Shared consciousness. Symbiotic evolution. But theories don't explain what it feels like. He placed a hand on Kodiak's shoulder. It's trust, complete and absolute. When I fight, I'm not alone. I'm never alone. And that changes everything. Marcus spoke up from across the bay, raised his head resting on his lap. Every human who bonds with an apex predator becomes something more, not stronger individually, but unstoppable together. The Vaxians will learn of this, Vexthal said. They'll adapt. Target the bonds. Develop weapons specifically to counter what you represent. Let them try, Elena said. Storm pressed against her side. They'll find out what Earth learned centuries ago. You don't fight predators. You become their ally or their prey. Vexthal's scales settled into deep purple, the color of respect among his people. High Command is requesting more human volunteers. They want to integrate bonded pairs into every fleet, every garrison, every forward position. We're ready, Liam said simply. The medical bay's doors opened. Colony representatives entered, led by an elderly woman with weathered features and eyes that had seen too much loss. She walked directly to Liam. 14,000 people live because of you, she said. Her voice cracked. Our children live because of you. We just bought time, Liam replied. Commander Vexthal won the battle. No, Vexthal corrected. You won it. I merely finished what you started. The woman pulled Liam into an embrace. Then she turned to Kodiak, hesitated only a moment, and wrapped her arms around the bear's massive neck. Kodiak, the apex predator who'd torn through Vraxian soldiers like paper, gently nuzzled her shoulder. Over the next hour, every colonist who could walk came to the medical bay. They brought food, supplies, gratitude. The bonded partners became centers of attention, children gathering around Titan to marvel at his size, asking Storm about his scars, laughing as Rays playfully batted at offered toys. Humanity's reputation across the coalition changed in those moments. Not feared, not mocked, respected. As the celebrations wound down and the colonists departed, Vexthal approached Liam one final time. I judged you poorly, the commander said. I saw weakness where strength existed. I saw pets where partners stood. I will not make that mistake again. You're not the first, Liam replied. You won't be the last. Perhaps, but I will ensure others learn faster than I did. Vexthal's four hands moved in a gesture of profound respect. The Vraxian threat grows daily. The coalition needs every advantage. Humanity and its bonds may be what tips the balance. Then we'll be ready, Kodiak rumbled. Just point us at the enemy. Liam looked around the medical bay at the other human teams. At Marcus and Race planning their next patrol route. At Elena teaching Storm how to interface with coalition technology. At Patrick and Titan organizing medical supply chains. At the Wolfpack sprawled together in a comfortable pile, their human partners discussing tactics. They'd come to the stars expecting to prove themselves. Instead, they'd proven something far more important. That Earth's greatest strength wasn't technology or tactics or raw power. It was the bonds they formed, the partnerships they honored, the absolute trust between species that others thought impossible. The Vraxians would learn. The entire galaxy would learn. Humanity didn't fight alone. They never had, and that made them unstoppable. Kodiak stood, his injuries healed enough for movement. He stretched, muscles rippling under his fur. "So what's next, Lieutenant?" Liam smiled, fastening the new insignia to his uniform. "Next? We do it again and again, until every colony is safe, until every enemy learns what it means to face Earth's bonded." "I can live with that," the bear said. Through their bond, Liam felt Kodiak's contentment, his readiness, his absolute certainty that together they could face whatever came next. The stars stretched infinite before them, full of enemies and challenges and impossible odds. But they'd faced impossible before.